Hello, hello. Happy Friday. To all of the 0 people here. How's it going? I ask rhetorically. All right. Fixing the camera. Fixing the camera. There we go. We're back. Back for some game dev. Some sweet Friday game dev. Still fixing the camera. Go. Let's just jump right in since it's just me, myself, and I today. Probably a short one today. I got some errands to run. Kind of tired. Say that every day. We'll see. We got some stuff to do. We kind of broke some stuff yesterday. Broke a lot of stuff yesterday. Came up with an alternative tilemap system process that only updates blocks that have changed. But that seems to have gone somewhat poorly. What we're going to do is we're going to split those two functions. I'm not sure what's happening, but we seem to be passing bad data to the tile maps. Weird, because my process for like assembling the data into a package that we're going to send over hasn't changed, but we're going to just try some stuff. We're going to split the two processes out. We'll call this like update tile map data entirely. We'll call this we'll have another one that we just call update tile map data changes. And we'll just dump those into both. So grab the commented code. The commented code here is the stuff that only applies. Grab this whole thing. That's part of our entirely process. We do have the cutaway we're doing somewhere. Like here. We also want this stuff. I just want to have the other method available. So what do we need to pass in? The buffer and the span. Could at least pass in the buffer. Block buffer. I'll just call it block buffer because that's what we call it, I swear. We're going to pass that in. We'll define the read-only span. Nah, whatever. We'll pass in the span too. This is temporary. Read-only span of a block. Call it read-only span. Do the same thing up here. Make it easier for me to test this stuff. And get rid of commented code now. Hey, Fusionist, how's it going? Happy Friday. Copy this whole section. Happy Friday to me. Thank you. You're doing good. What's on the menu today? We're trying to fix what we broke yesterday. Somehow, when we went from updating the entire tile map every time to only updating the changes, somehow we're corrupting the tile map data that we're sending over, which is weird because I didn't touch that part of the code, but you know, that's how it goes, right? So now I'm just splitting the two options into two different functions. We can do some A/B testing here. Try to compare them and see where we're destroying all of this data. Sounds about right? Yeah. It really does. All right, so we want to continue clearing the cutaways. I don't want to put that at the top. It's a good thing to think about because eventually, like right now, the only state the game is in is the edit state. So like we're doing this one way in that context, but once we are no longer in that context, once we add a play state where we're no longer updating the tiles, well, we're no longer updating the tile types, like the hull types. We'll still use the auto tiler for things like rendering damage and stuff like that, and different states of things. So like we'll still use the auto tiler part, but it'll be very different. Some of the data will be set aside and like baked in and stuff, and like we need to think about how we're gonna do that. So I want to try update tile map data entirely. We're gonna pass in the block buffer and we're gonna pass in the read-only span, and then we're gonna have update tile map data changes, a block buffer, read-only span. We're gonna just comment this out. Feel like there's probably something that we've done that breaks our previous system. So we're just gonna make sure that the last way we did this still works. It does not. Ah, I know why. Because that version requires us to reset the hulls, the tiles, and maybe the doors. I actually don't remember if we need to reset the doors. I don't think we were doing that before, but we probably should. All right. Well, I mean, this way works, so that's good. I need some guides to like help me. I know I had guides that were like that just showed the max buildable area, but if we make the max buildable area like outside the screen, I need some other kinds of guides. I also need to detect what the bounds of the actual working area is. for the cutaway system. Like we need to get a max, like we need to get a used rect or something so that we stop doing this thing where we just accidentally cut away too much. So I don't ever want to cut away past the outer walls. Like the back walls should always be there. Maybe not. I don't know. My inclination. Well, good news is that just having a larger buildable area does not seem to be slowing the tile map system down. What seems to slow the tile map system down is when we're using all of it. So like this seems to be running okay. We're also back to this version of the cutaway system, which like I have mixed feelings about. I do kind of like that it includes an implicit level counter as far as like the top lines that you can see. And I like that it displays more of the outer shell. Gives you a better sense of place. But I don't know if it actually shows enough of the layer that you're on. It is easy to change. We just changed some variables. Run that test one more time, and this time, like, really go to town. Just, like, use the whole buffalo, you know? I just want to see when we start to get a slowdown. Should be around now. But it's not. That's peculiar. Do I not even need to actually do this optimization right now? Kind of hard to build at this lower layer. I need to actually maybe do the camera first. So that I can actually... Like, I just straight up can't see the edge of this thing anymore. All right, well, we're not seeing the slowdown that we were noticing before, which is weird. I guess we're not down at the bottom level yet. I'm just trying to stress test this thing. Maybe I don't care yet. Maybe we can chalk that up to a premature optimization and worry about that later. Maybe just threading it will be like enough of an optimization. Because I'm not noticing any slowdown. I mean, what's truly slow is the flood fill algorithm. That we like can't run right now. That would just take too long on a space of this size. Yeah, I need camera movement is what I need. I need to be able to navigate around better. What I really need right now. Like, hard to do what I'm doing here. Camera rotation is helping a lot as far as like making it doable to interact with all this stuff. Camera rotation is nice. All right, well, this is responsive enough to me. Maybe we just put a pin in that. Well, just for kicks, we're going to swap to that system just to see what's going wrong. Because there's a lot going wrong. What's weird is there are no errors per se. There's just something happening. Yeah, so I don't know where this problem is, but wow, look at this. This is bad stuff. I don't know if, I mean, obviously we're sending bunk data. And what it's complaining about, and based on this number here that we're seeing, so where it expects the tilemap data format, instead of adding the format, we're putting in a position. So there's something going wrong with approximately this area of code where we take all the tilemap data and we prepare it to be sent over, which we need to do a pass on this. We're doing a lot of memory allocation here that we don't need to do. Because we're basically working tile by tile instead of layer by layer. If we did layer by layer, we could just make an array and fill it instead of having all these lists. It was easier to set it up this way initially, but it's like, that's like bad. So what's weird is this section here, where we do this, where we like initialize the data for the layer with a 0. This is like not happening, which means we're never either, we must not be ever attempting to get the layer data out. And then so somehow we're like, I don't know what we're doing here. There's something we're doing that is just destroying the data. I don't know where that could be. Oh, it would be down here. No, it wouldn't. It would be up here. Okay. I'm just going to step through this and just give it a quick look. Because we did this whole thing. We did like, changed like 500 lines of code in like one sitting. It's very possible I just did something wrong and didn't notice it. But I'm tempted to just move on and do some camera controls. And then come back to this. We are going from layer 0 to layer 2. Oh no, here's layer 1 right here. Block versus relative position. Oh, here's what's happening. Well, hold on. Block is block not a relative position? No, block is an absolute position, isn't it? This should be getting defined up here. And then just used everywhere. Turn clockwise too. Game angle. So this is view relative. What we're passing in is I think I see at least part of the problem. we have two ways to look at our positions, either view relative or like I would call like game absolute. Like what are the absolute coordinates versus the coordinates in view space and like camera space. That was definitely causing a problem. And then so the key, once again, we're defining the key based on the absolute coordinates. We need to not do that. It needs to be this. It needs to be block dot turn clockwise 2. Oh, did I mess this up here? Did this just also be block dot turn clockwise 2? Yeah. Rename that block position so it's clear we're talking about the position and not block itself. All right, let's see why that looks. That might actually be better. Not really. Oh. Hmm. I think I want to rethink this whole process because right now we're just checking all the tiles that got updated plus one tile over. And that's not going to work as soon as we have objects that can affect more than one tile. I guess that's not true. That won't. This would work. However, that would include that as well. Oh, we're still actually removing block. I didn't actually get rid of the references to the block position. Okay, so what I did didn't actually change anything. That's why it appeared to not change anything. We're mixing our relative positions and our absolute positions, and that is like mixing oil and water here. Like it's not causing a hard failure, but it's like really gumming up the whole thing. Because it's misreferencing positions. Yeah, here too, we can't do this. All of these positions are relative to, so we need to say up here. Let's just declare this at the top because we might actually use it. I'm not using that, weirdly enough. Leaf episode. Hey, how's it going? How's the game dev? It's going okay. It's going okay. We're kind of doing an A/B test here of two different ways to run our auto tiler. We have this isometric 3D auto tiling going on here. So I can like make a ceiling, go down a layer, turn it into a box, hollow it out so it's a room, go down another layer, make another room. So we're working on creating these 3D isometric spaces. Right now they're very rudimentary, but keep going here. And this whole thing kind of just works, but the unfortunate thing we're doing is that we're updating the entire tile map every single time we do this. So I'm trying to work on a system that only updates the changes, save us a lot of cycles. Big picture, we're working on like an isometric 3D version of FTL, faster than light, kind of a starship simulator kind of game. How are you? Happy Friday. Thank you. Looks dope. You're good. Good to hear. Both of those things are great to hear. All right. So we're having some problems with the only update the changes version. Is that the version we're looking at here? Yes. And there was something I saw which was causing problems, which was that we were referencing. So we can do, I didn't show it, but we can basically do camera rotations in this game, just like 90-degree ones. And when I rewrote part of this, I accidentally mixed up the the coordinates in viewing space and the coordinates in like world space. And we were mixing them up in a couple places, like right here. So the key is block position dot turn clockwise. So here we're going to say P with W equals I. All right, now let's go look for more references to this block position. If we find any more references in this code, which it doesn't look like there are, judging from Ryder's little helpful. Here are references to the variable you've double clicked on. Now we're only using key, so that's good. Are we redeclaring key with the correct W? Yeah, we are. Okay. So our auto tiler uses a ton of layers. I say a ton. It's not that many. It's like we have 7 layers right now per level. Right now we have about 5 levels. So it is like 30 something layers, but each layer only really references 2 or 3 other layers. But they're not all the same 2 or 3 layers. So there's a lot of cross-referencing going on. And I think I was messing a lot of that up by confusing the world space here. All right, let's see what this looks like. This is probably going to still be wrong, but it should hopefully be better. Okay, oop, almost. It's mostly good. It seems to be freaking out some of the time. What if I try to actually draw something? Okay, it's mostly working. It seems to fail if we jump too far. Like it's not considering enough of the area. We solved this problem in our tool system, so maybe we can also solve it here. Oh, that's bad. Whatever's going on there. So building stuff is okay, but as soon as we start going around and just hovering, it all goes to shit. Okay. Interesting. Funny how that works here. Yeah, if we actually build stuff, it's fine. It's this observation layer that is busted. Let's dig into that. Yeah, and we're sending, so again, we're like not providing correctly formatted data. And that is so perplexing to me. Maybe because the count is 0, we're not actually, hmm. Maybe I think I have some idea of where this problem is. I think it has something to do with this counts dictionary. So basically, because we're only, so does counts need to become a member variable? I think the answer is yes. Gustavo Aguilar, hello, how's it going? Welcome in. You posted a wow. I presume you are referring to what just happened. Yeah, we have a different version of the auto tiler that's trying to only update based on the changes. And it's a little busted compared to, you know, the regular version that updates the whole thing every single frame. This version works great. And it's actually faster. Let's see if I don't hollow it out. If I just leave it as like a, if I just leave it as like a solid block, what's the performance like? I guess I should try to do a bigger block. We were running into some performance stuff yesterday because we keep increasing the size of the area we're interested in, the size of the volume that we can build in. Keep making it bigger. And my last test, we were running into some performance issues, but I don't. It's super weird. Those performance issues are not manifesting themselves today. Kind of weird. How are you doing? Happy Friday. Yeah, I think I want to expand the distance of the cutaway of the ceiling above the active layer. You remember the lag yesterday? Yeah, it was there, right? Like, I swear I didn't change anything. I mean, the only thing we can do is go to an even larger scale, like a scale that's so large that we need to pan the camera around to see everything. That's my only other idea, is try to just find the performance bottleneck and see how bad it is. Because, yeah, I can't find it. Super weird. I don't know what we did specifically to trigger it. I thought it was these solid blocks that look wrong because it's basically just like an enormous set of walls. But maybe some of the other, I changed some of the rendering stuff to say basically ignore tiles that can't be seen. And I think maybe that added some optimization. Hmm. Oh well, I still kind of want to see if we can, still kind of want to compare it with this other version that only updates the changes. I kind of want to do a little more on this and see if we can get it. What are these warnings? So these are not significant warnings. I thought these were maybe the memory allocation warnings that I get sometimes. The final step involves like way too much memory allocation. We needed to do a pass on this. This whole thing that prepares the data to actually be like marshaled and pinned and sent back to Godot. We can optimize the hell out of this. For sure, it was lagging much less. Yeah, that was my feeling. So I don't know. That's weird. Anyway, so I identified a problem, or I identified what I think is a problem, which is this counts dictionary. I think needs to actually become I think this actually needs to become a member variable, because I think the problem is we're not setting the counts correctly when we're not changing all the tiles, which makes a lot of sense, because the old system would check every tile, so it would give an accurate count. But this system is not checking every tile, so it's not giving an accurate count. So that means we need to turn this into a member variable. In the long run, this is not the way we can do this. We're not going to store everyone's data here in an intermediate state. I mean, we can do this if we're in the edit system, but we're going to need to store this data a different way soon. And I need to figure out how that is going to be done. Some of it might be easier to just regenerate every time, like the tile data. All right, so we can increment the count. Here's the problem. What if this is already accounted for? I think what I need to do is, rather than doing this as we go, I think maybe this is actually still a local variable, and we're going to need to just do a count at the end instead of doing a running tally. The problem is I cannot tell if we've already counted this. For any given tile, I can't tell if it's already been counted. Unless yeah, I don't know. That doesn't seem good. So let's keep it as a local variable. And what we're going to do is we're just going to move the count to the end. Instead of doing it as we go along, we're just going to have to do one. This sucks. We're going to actually have to do an iteration of, we're going to have to just iterate through all the values in the tiles and just count them. There's, at the moment, not a better way to do it. In the long run, we need a better way to do this. Well, actually, this doesn't need to be a dictionary if we do it this way. It could actually just be an array. So that's good. Because previously we didn't know which tiles we were going to calculate in which order, so we had to be kind of random about it. But now, and that'll actually help us clean this final step up to make it easier and with less allocation. So here we're still doing for tile and tiles.values. We need to not do it this way. And I think having a different count actually helps. Count the number of tiles in each layer. So we're going to say for each. What we're going to do is we're going to, instead of declaring it like this, what we're going to do is we're just going to have an array. We're going to have an array counts equals a new int, not tiles.count, it's levels times layers. So we are still going to need to iterate through each tile, unfortunately. And we're going to say counts tile dot z times layers tile dot area. I don't love that I call it area. Tile dot area times layers plus tile dot layer. Does that not result in a area dot x? No, what? Hold on. Oh, does this need to be, this needs to get cast to an int. That was the problem. All right, that sucks, but it will work. And so now I don't want to do it like this. So we don't have to do it like this. What we could do instead, third pass to build out the tilemap data byte arrays for each layer. We could just do one array instead of this dictionary of lists of U shorts. So our problem here, so this is actually, I want to change this, but it's, the thing is, it's solving a different problem. And I don't want to create new problems for myself right now. I just want to solve the current problem that we have. And then I can address this. Because if we can solve for this, we bring down our like insane, the crazy allocations we do whenever we prepare the data, which I want to get that down. So instead, pack data. So right now we're just going to deal with counts. So counts is no longer a dictionary. Now it's going to be z times layers plus w. Counts. Times 12 plus 2. To get rid of those magic numbers. 12 is 12 is the number of bytes per tile. 2 is the header for the layer. Layer header bytes. Say bytes per layer. Probably better. No. I'm sometimes bad about leaving magic numbers and not documenting them. All right, so now at least, so it's shitty that packed data is still a list. That can be just one U-short array. Layer data also is shitty that it's a dictionary, but let's one like I said, one problem at a time. I'm telling me as much as I'm telling you. All right, so then this is instead this is counts. So I can't add no layer data. We can actually take this out. We could just say if counts z, say if counts z times layers plus w greater than 0, then we do this. Okay. Let's see. The fact that we're doing the count should help. Okay, there's some weird things happening here. We're leaving ghosts around sometimes. I'm curious about when the sometimes is. Okay. Okay. This is mostly correct. There's definitely a few weird little issues. Definitely some issues. I don't understand why there are issues, but there are little ones about outlining and drawing faces that were like kind of hidden. But it is mostly working. Let's go down a level and see. Oh yeah, this is a little janky. Definitely some jank here. Oh, okay, that works really badly once we're no longer on an active layer. All right, that's horrible. Progress. Yeah, I mean, we're still sending bad data over sometimes. And I still don't understand why. So I'm going to put a pin in this because we have seemingly not run into the performance issue, which triggered us doing this in the first place. So we're going to just go back to the other system that just updates entirely. And we're going to move on to trying to do some different things. What I want to try next is I want to add some camera movement and then try an even bigger buildable area. Like a buildable area that just takes up the whole screen. So let's see. Fusionist, right? If it's a single ship per game, you may never see that performance issue. It's going to be more than one. I mean, you'll only be zoomed in to one of them at a time, but you might zoom out, see another ship next to you, and then zoom into that one. And also when you're zoomed out, you're going to see like a smaller version of the ship, which I've already been like drawing those. So like we have like all these tiles on the exterior of the ship. We're only going to render the exterior of the ship at a smaller scale. You'll see this as well if you zoom out. So you'll see like a half-sized version of your ship. And in that view, you can see other ships, hopefully. I need to pan the camera around. Yeah, we're basically addressing the problem, our scale problem, by saying in zoomed in mode, you're only worried about what's going on inside the ship. And then when you're in zoomed out mode, that's when you're like targeting other ships and stuff. That's when you're doing external stuff. So there's going to be two modes. There's going to be internal mode and external mode. And you'll be switching between those modes. So in an external mode, the auto tiler might be rendering, you know, a few different ships. But in internal mode, only one of them should be getting rendered at a time. So if we don't see a problem soon, all I'm going to do is offload the auto tiler to another thread and just call that a day. I will need to improve the memory marshalling stuff that we do so that we aren't allocating an insane amount of memory when we're preparing that, which Ryder has warned me about that we're doing. Where do I want the camera controls? Probably in the input handler. Can we say like is? Does that work? No. Okay. I'm just gonna put it outside of everything for now. I'm gonna put it in the process function and we'll just worry about it here. And so we're just gonna do the usual thing. I need to add some inputs unless I've already done it. Call this pan left, pan right, pan down, pan up. I should probably call it camera, not pan. Or camera pan, probably. View pan, I don't know. Camera pan left. Camera pan right. Camera pan down. Camera pan up. And we're just going to make some axes. I haven't done this in a minute, so I'm going to have to remember. So we're going to call this like variable like horizontal axis is input.get axis, get axis, camera pan left. Camera pan right. Variable vertical axis, input.get axis. Negative is going to be camera pan up in this case, right? That's Godot. Because Godot 2D. All right. And then so how do I want to do this? Do I just want to like, do I want to just move the camera here? There are some cases where we're not going to move the camera, like if we're in a menu state, we're not going to move a camera. But right now, the only state that we're interested in moving the camera is one state we have. So I'm not going to worry about that part right now. So I don't know. Should I just have the camera here and just manually move it? That's the simplest thing to do right now. Oh, this can be a unique string. That's not where I put the unique part. It can be a string name. So we can just say camera 2D dot global position. Yeah, we can just say position. It's top level. Position. We lerp. Could this be lerped? Or can this be translate? Can I say camera 2D dot translate? I haven't moved anything in so long. Translate, offset. Yeah, sure. Horizontal axis. Vector 2. Horizontal axis. Vertical axis. I don't care that this is in process and will be refresh rate dependent. I don't care if the camera is refresh rate dependent. I want to get something working now. Crash. Cannot call method translate on a null value. Which is the null value? Camera 2D. Is this because maybe what I should do is just make these values. I mean, we're in the input handler, which is kind of where I want to handle inputs. Maybe what I do is I just say, maybe I make these member variables. Variable horizontal axis float. Vertical axis float. Probably want to do this at the top, not at the bottom. Then the camera can ask if it's in a state in which it should move. Give it a camera script. Camera. Translate. I guess let's make this physics process. Physics process. Translate. Input handler. Horizontal axis. Actually, we could just say variable offset. Vector 2. I don't know. Who cares? The UI isn't following us. That's do I need to parent the UI under the camera? I feel like I don't. That's not how I expect the UI to work. I would have expected the UI to come with us. Godot, UI, follow, camera. Place your UI as a child of a canvas layer node to essentially pin it to the viewport. Okay, so should I just filed it under the camera. It's because I think it's because the common root is just a regular node. Scene tree, viewport. So the viewport is the root. Is it because I'm breaking this chain by putting a regular node here? Like a node, like a single dimension node? Canvas layers are independent of tree order, okay. And they only depend on their layer number, okay. They can be instantiated when needed. Answer is canvas layer, which is a node that adds a separate 2D rendering layer for all its children and grandchildren. Viewport children will draw by default at layer 0, while a canvas layer will draw at any numeric layer. Layers with a greater number will be drawn above those with a smaller number. Canvas layers also have their own transform and do not depend on the transform of other layers. This allows the UI to be fixed in screen space while our view on the game world changes. So should I... So should what I have done is instead of having the UI node be a control node? No, but this is a canvas item. Oh, I need a canvas layer. So should this not have been a control node? Should this have been canvas layer? What do you even do here? Mouse hover. Who even calls this? Does anyone even use this? Palette block. I don't think anyone uses this UI control here I've set up, so I could probably get rid of it. Unless the game uses it. I'm going to detach this. I'm going to change this type to a canvas layer. Okay, so the UI is now independent here. What the F is happening there? Oh, are you confused now? It is confused now. Now that the camera has started moving, that is messing up our understanding of where the cursor is in space. Interesting. Huh. Okay. That should be relatively easy to deal with. So this is like the max buildable area here. I should go from the bottom here. All right, how do I make this stable board? So get global mouse position, the global mouse position. Okay. Moving layers dot local to map dot to local. We should be able to take any coordinate and get this into the right state. Weird how this isn't working. Because we're just mapping the global mouse position onto the tile map. So why? Make sure I'm not getting that behavior when I don't move the camera. No, so it's only when I move the camera. So now if I move the camera to the right a bit, now when I do this, yeah. Okay, it seems to only be affecting multi-tile placement. That's interesting. So only affecting when we're here. What if I just make this else for a second here and not worry about this distinction? Interesting how this is working. So how is that possible? Position does have its center here. That possibly causing a problem? It really shouldn't because we are. Let me make sure nothing untoward is happening here. Interesting. Interesting. Maybe it's not recontextualizing. No, that doesn't make sense. Very weird. All right, there's something weird happening with our anchor position. So it's like working if I'm sustaining a movement. If I start a new one, Call that a mechanic. It is not a good one because it is seemingly unpredictable. Giving me some kind of weird offset based on where the camera is. The offset gets bigger. No, the offset just seems to be weird. I think there might be there's something here. What it is ain't exactly clear. My understanding of how I'm doing this. Cursor coords, mouse position. Mouse position is global position. Very strange is when we start an action like this. Okay, well that's good. It's routing us to this point that's very strange, and it's doing it based on the fact that we have some kind of camera offset. Okay. Let's see about it here. It's very likely to be in here somewhere. Be in this section. So let's look at what we're doing. So what we do when we do a placement. When we do a hover, we don't have this problem. Good. What if we're doing a block placement? We do have this problem. And so what we're doing here is we get the coordinates from the instruction. The instruction is sending it to us in tilemap space. So having that in tilemap space, that should be stable. That should not change based on camera movement. That should be entirely stable. We get the coordinates from that. We store them in their relative form, their view relative form. Then we turn them into the absolute coordinates. Okay. We do that every time. And then so when we're maintaining, when we start a move, we set these anchor coordinates. We set the prior bounds. And each time we continue, we set a new bounds using the minimum and the maximum components of the anchor coordinates and the regular coordinates. These anchor coordinates seem to be changing when we move around the camera. Like they seem to not be stable, which is insane because we only set them in the begin step. guess I just need to print some stuff. So let's start at the top. Say variable coords is. Let's store this and then print that. We aren't. Oh, here's a problem. Okay, this might actually be just the whole problem right here. Prior coords equals coords. We're not setting the prior coords when we start this. Let's see if that's the whole problem. When we initiate a interaction, we're doing some weird stuff. Interesting how that didn't cause any errors until now. So we can do something like this. Then we can go over here. And nope, that did not do anything. Yeah, the anchor coordinates are bananas here. What if we only use get global mouse position and we don't use the events position? Maybe the event has having a weird. Okay, that was it. I think that was it. Oh no, that was not it. It was some of it though. No, maybe it wasn't it. Okay. All right. So why? Actually, I don't want to update this, do I? Actually don't want to assign that. Maybe I do. I'm going to print the boundaries each time we do this. Debug.writeLine prior bounds. I'm actually just going to do this once down at the bottom here. We're going to see what we're working with here. We're going to go over here. See what we just got. 1210 to 1210. That's correct. So we start from 1210 to 1210, which is where we clicked. And then now, all of a sudden, we have 1250 to 1710. We have -5 and +5. Okay, that's a little weird. Oh, I didn't do the debug. So I'm not moving the mouse at all. So we're not even reaching the continue step. We should only be hitting the begin step. No, we are hitting the continue step. How is that happening? Oh, no, I understand. So yeah, 1715, 1715. Then all of a sudden, we're getting a new coordinate here that's -5 +5, -5y, and then another one that's +5. These are being mixed. The two coordinate sets are being mixed together. And we're just finding the minimum and the maximum between them, component-wise. And then so I do another one. It starts 1620, 1620. Now it's 314 to 1620. 314 to 1620. Hmm. Very strange. The anchor coordinates. The anchor coordinates may be changing is like the thing that I'm concerned about. So we're just gonna we're just gonna see what this number should be stable. I think we're sending a different coordinate set the first time we do this compared to the second time we do it. I think it's causing some weird behavior. Okay, so that resolves it there. But yeah, using the clicks global position is like not good. That's causing some problems. Somehow. Which doesn't make a ton of sense. I actually want to compare the two because they should be exactly the same. Like click.global position should not be. I guess it maybe could be slightly different than the get global mouse position. Prints click.global position get global mouse position. Let's find the rest of these debug calls. Get rid of this one. I'm going to switch this to windowed mode so I can actually see what's going on in the debugger. 208, 121. Okay, so they match now. What if I move the camera? Okay, as soon as I move the camera, they no longer match. Huh. So is the global position relative to something that I don't understand? The get global mouse position seems to be stable, like relatively stable. But click dot global position seems to be wildly different based on the camera, based on the camera position. That's definitely a problem. Am I skipping a step when I do this? This way? No, seemingly not. Okay, so we're just gonna stop using click.global position. What we're gonna stop doing. I'm gonna say warning, warning, click.global position is not consistent when the camera has moved. That's unfortunate. We're going to stop using that. And that should solve some of our problems. Then when we're in here, we're getting a local to map. And not only are we getting a local to map, but the first thing we're doing is casting it to local. So we're making sure that our cursor coordinates are local to the layer, and then we're getting from the local to the map. So that should just work. But that part's not working. And let's try to understand why. No, wait. That couldn't have been the whole problem. Was that the whole problem? Thought I checked that, and I thought I found a different problem. Okay, that was the only problem. Rest of this seems to be totally camera. Want our translate to be maybe a little faster? Constant speed is a float, and it's like, I don't know, 2. I guess I should multiply that by delta. Oh, Lord. Translate. Translates the body. Translates the node by the given offset and local coordinates. Get access. Okay. All right, we don't seem to have any problem anymore. Good. What about on lower levels? No? Seems to be good. All right. Now I want to see if we can find that performance issue. I need to start doing this again. Let's just take it to the max. Try to find that slowdown that we spotted yesterday. Now that I can actually do this. Oh, we went up too many layers. Nope, no, absolutely no slowdown of any kind, even when just maxed out, just like completely maxed out. Cool. I don't love the camera movement, but that's just like a pixel art thing. There's just like a bit of a stutter. I don't know if at this resolution you can really do anything about that unless you change some fundamental stuff. Nice that I can just move the camera around and the tracking is accurate. This is already like bigger than I would probably want pretty much any ship to be. Maybe we don't need to test a larger scale. You need to add some like bounding so that like you can't just keep going indefinitely here. Oh, what we do need to do is not, because right now we're moving the camera when we're inputting the other up down, the other controls for like up down left right or up down like orbit. So what we need to do here is we need to We need to restrict. How do I do this? So I have pan left. I have A. So if we go into A here, what I want is it to like, if not A shift. Oops. I'm gonna do something else here. So what I should do is I should do something like, there was a setting somewhere for input. So like for this, additional options control. There was something about going to the wrong thing. Something about this is action just pressed. Oh, it's this true. It's this is like particular. So what I need to do is, maybe I need to call the get strength. Maybe I need to, because this is the equivalent of calling get action strength, but does get action strength, cool. Exact match. Okay, so I can't use this shorthand because this shorthand doesn't let me use exact match. So I need to use, need to use a raw call to get action strength. Get action strength positive minus get action strength negative. Yo, Ryson, you had to fix your parents' leaky bathtub drain? Oh, geez. That sounds rough. That like a clawfoot one that's like raised off the ground? Because otherwise that sounds like some major work. That's pretty wild. What's the difference between raw strength? Oh, it ignores the dead zone. Get action strength. True. So we're gonna say input.get action strength true minus input. Oh, it needs to be the other way around. So this is camera pan down minus camera pan up. Okay. So this should ignore the times when we're using an alternative. So if I'm moving the camera, and then I start panning the camera. Okay, now we're not also moving the camera. Okay. You know, I think the outlines are causing a lot of the sense of jitteriness. I think when we move, if we move away from outlines and we switch to textures, to a more textured thing, I think this is going to bother me a lot less. The like jitteriness of it, of like having to move a whole pixel at once. No, you have to repair some drywall you had to break through to access the drainage assembly. Oof. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. That is wild. But aren't you just so helpful to like the members of your family? Installing appliances, fixing fixtures. Pretty amazing. Is there some like stuff I can do here? Stretch, aspect, scale, scale mode, integer. There's some like smoothness stuff I can do. Maybe that's in the camera. Per pixel transparency. Wait, hold on. The window background. I see. That's for like games that are like overlays or apps that are overlays. Size. Snap 2D transforms to pixel. Useful for low resolution pixel art games. Their position can still be subpixel, but the decimals will not have effect as the position is rounded. Okay, so this would be crisp, but we don't want this. What we want is this. We want this camera 2D smoothing, maybe. Camera. That on the camera itself, probably. Smoothed. What's limit? Oh. Yeah, I would like to define a limit. Maybe not right now, but say 640. Oh, no, left should be 320. Negative, oh no, negative 320. Negative 640. 320, 640. Start there. Smooth. This is what I'm interested in. If true, the camera smoothly stops when it reads. Oh, that's just for the limit. The property has no effect if position smoothing enabled is false. Okay, so position smoothing, rotation smoothing. We don't care about rotation. Position smoothing. If true, the camera's view smoothly moves towards its target position at position smoothing speed. Okay. That's not about rendering stuff. That's more about like, maybe that's good. Maybe that's allowing us some subpixel stuff. What does this say? To immediately update the camera's position to be within limits without smoothing, even with the setting enabled, invoke reset smoothing. I don't care about that. So let's in this and this. Speed 5 pixels per second. Ah, okay. That maybe doesn't do what I think it does. Wait. Why is it moving? Why did it hard move me to the limit? Oh, because our world is not based on... World is not centered. Also, now I can only go up or down, so... What's up with that? But it is smoother. So let's turn this stuff off again. I don't think I understand how that part works. Let's keep this on. Oh yeah, that's way better. Oh, and it gives us a little slowdown too. That's beautiful. It feels a lot better. Yeah. I think the smoothing, I like the smooth movement. I don't know if I like the smooth slowdown. Like I like the movement here is a lot less jittery than what I'm used to for a pixel art game. Probably can't really tell on stream compared to what it was before, but here I'm running at like 120 or something. I actually don't remember what my refresh rate is. I notice it. I'm noticing it. Oh yeah, that feels good. That doesn't have that weird oh, what was that? Kind of a weird drawing thing that happened there. So I should figure out how the limit thing works. So wait, can I center everything now? And will that just work? So if I put you here and put you also here, does that just work? I like to offset it sometimes so that I can see the UI, but the UI is just snapped here. So now if I do the limit thing, will it work? If I set a particular limit of negative 320, negative 640, 320, 640. So now what does that do? So now when I get to the edge, okay, so now I can no longer move left or right, but I can move up or down. Am I just an idiot? And will I be stopped if I reach the edge? No. Maybe I don't understand what camera limit does. I thought it would be like a way to keep the camera in a certain area. Left scroll limit in pixels. The camera stops moving when reaching this value, but offset can push the view past the limit. Okay. I'm not changing offset, I'm changing position. Oh, maybe I have this in reverse. Maybe it's 640, or I did have it in reverse. Minus 320, minus 640, 320. No, I didn't have it. Didn't have it in reverse. I had it right. And scrolling. Is scrolling like different than just moving the camera? Okay, no, now I can do it. I don't know. I must have had a value set wrong. All right, when am I going to stop? Oh, I stopped. Oh, and I stopped there too. Oh, but now... Okay, now I'm stuck. Maybe that's why there's that smoothing property. I think I got stuck on the wrong side or something, and it stopped working. It does sometimes happen. Okay, it works kind of weirdly. I don't really like how this works because when you're at the edge and you try to go back the other way, there's like this delay before it starts. Like if I hit the top, now I immediately start going back down. There's that 2 or 3 second delay. Kind of weird. Maybe it's that smoothing. Turn the smoothing off. Not what I wanted to do. No, there's still this weird, really weird delay. I get to maybe I need just to manually limit the camera. Maybe I add like a limiter that's like, yeah, I think there's something we can do there. The weird visual thing that's happening sometimes. Yeah, I don't know what that is. It's almost like you can see through the layers for a fraction of a second sometimes. Yeah, I'm seeing it on the stream. Weird tearing look. Maybe it has something to do with resetting the tilemap data constantly, every frame. I don't know what that is. but I can live with it. I like having the UI layered over everything, so I think I'm gonna add the offset back. The 640. No, the 320 by 118, 160. No, 180. What the F is it supposed to be? 200? 180? It'd be 160. Be the right amount. Why isn't it overlapping? Happy Friday. Thanks, Time Novel. We're testing some stuff. We're testing some like larger scale buildable area, seeing if we can handle it from like a performance standpoint. And so far it's been okay. Oh, I need to change the camera limit. Just turn it off for now. I need to put that in later. I kind of want to do my own camera limit so we can like be able to build larger things. Like you could build like a wing, and like over here you could build like another wing, and then you could build like the core of the ship in the middle. But we got that. We got camera rotation working again. I had a weird visual artifact when we moved the camera around. This strange thing that happens sometimes. Yeah, what is that? Maybe that's known. Weird how we haven't run into that tilemap limit again. Like we don't seem to have a performance limit here. I was expecting one. Means we're just gonna try an even larger scale. See where the actual hard limit is. So we can make much bigger things now. Good. Hey, Mr. Magoo. How's it going? Got a tile cutaway system. We've gone back to this system, which is not to slice the layers out individually. It's more like digging into the area. I need to do some stuff. I need to like have each layer know where its actual used rect is. We're gonna snooze the ad. Mr. Magoo, you're still trying to port Unity games to Mac. You're doing this. To be fair, doing anything for Mac is like basically impossible. Oh, Ryson, you said something. Sorry, I probably didn't notice it for 1,000 years. Ryson, resetting the entire tile map every frame shouldn't happen once you get the diffing done, right? Yeah, we've been working on it. There's a problem with it. But honestly, the redoing the tile map every single frame does not seem to be doesn't seem to have any real cost to it. And it's really not going to have a cost to it once we put it on its own thread. So I tried it. It's not totally working, and I'm just going to put a pin in it until we need it. It feels like a future optimization problem that we will do if necessary. Because right now, this is just super responsive. Because yeah, we're checking a 32 by 32 by 4 area. That's still like small in computing terms. I mean, maybe if we switch to checking a 64 by 64 by 8 area, which is kind of where I want to go. I think that's like my theoretical upper limit for how large of a tile map I want to support. I don't know. Maybe taller. Maybe tall is better than wide. And maybe we want to do some things where, like, when you go up a layer, it moves the camera. Maybe you just have side to side movement. Is the side to side movement causing that visual glitch that I'm seeing? Or is it just up down movement? Because if we only allow side to side movement, then we could do this without quite so many. No, I guess I want full camera movement, especially if the ship gets wider than this. I don't know. Yeah, I need to look into this strange visual effect we're seeing. Not good. I usually don't like having camera controls in this kind of a thing, but we're gonna need to because these ships are huge. But yeah, Mr. Magoo, doing anything for Mac is just such a slog. It feels like I haven't done anything iOS related in many years, but it was not pleasant. Like Xcode is, I don't think, and from what I hear from people that still do it, Xcode is like not gotten better. Really enjoying the camera rotation stuff. All right. I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. I know it's a short stream, but it seems to be a very quiet day, and I need to run some errands anyway. And we kind of did enough in my mind. Probably pick this up tomorrow. Probably test a larger build area, just max it out. Just test the 64 by 64 by 8 build area. See if we can handle it. If we can, great. We'll just set that up, and then we just need to do some optimization so that the tile map can tell how big a ship construction is and prune the unused tiles. But yeah, I think I'm going to cue the music. I appreciate everyone hanging out on a Friday. 64 by 64 by 64? No, absolutely not. I think we don't need nearly as much up down movement as we want side to side. Now, for the sequel, or maybe an expansion, you know, where we instead of being like Star Trek The Next Generation, it's Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Babylon 5. When we do the space station version of this game, where you're managing an entire space station, maybe we kick it up to 64 by 64 by 64. Maybe we even go crazier. 64 by 64 by 128. I don't know. Maybe we just go wild. But for a ship, I don't think your ships are going to be taller than they are wide. I think I mean, obviously that's possible, but I don't think it's good. But I don't know. Maybe that would be the meta. Maybe it would be better to have turbo lifts taking you to different rooms than have a lot of wide corridors. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what we end up doing. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. And we'll be back tomorrow. Bye.